All right. So I don't know if there's not notification going out. Finally went live. Um, but anyways, this is gonna be a quick one. Anyways, so basically, um, what I meant to mention this earlier, but when I had to keep making, I had to make like three different videos. Basically, all could have just been said in one video. But I had to what's it called? I had to the phone kept dying, so I had to keep remaking the videos. So the breaking news part of that first one was first just some simple stuff at first. It was basically the situation where there were two senators, state senators, but you know, nonetheless, state senators. One in Oklahoma that was found dead, not maybe no gunshot wound, not self-inflicted, murdered, as well as one in Arkansas. And it turns out that the one who died in Arkansas, she was killed by like her campaign man. I want to say manager. I'm not sure if she was actually the manager, but she was high ranking on her campaign staff for sure. And she was also like her very good friend. I don't know if it was like best friend, but definitely very good friend. And she's the one who actually murdered her. And it's like, like what situation would there be where that would happen? Normally you don't see two professional women like that, and one takes out the other, and they're actually friends. The only thing I would think of is unless there's something really a lot more dark to this, is a man. Like if not to make it sound like only women, but like one of the husbands of one. Let's say the more powerful one that was the state senator, slept with the other one's husband. I don't know. That's just my mind. It's just like what could have possibly happened? Would she murder her in her house? So it like wasn't planned, anything like that. It's like she knows she's gonna go down for it. It just doesn't make that much sense. She can't be that stupid. I mean, to be in that position. As a like a campaign manager, a high ranking campaign person for someone successful. So that was a very interesting story when I read that. Also, there's a lot of huge things going on right now that are unreported. Like they're reported, but in my opinion, I know, and I don't want to see any comments. That was one of the other things. I don't know if it got in the video. Over the past like 6 videos, there's been 2 separate comments talking about my child in the background. Listen, if you got a problem with that, there's a button that says subscribe. Hit it and get the fuck out of here. Honestly, if you have a problem with hearing a child make a sound here and there, you're a miserable prick, and you're just a prick anyway for saying something like that. Like, I'm a single father. I work. I do my best, and I still try to bring the truth to people. Put a lot of effort into it, and people hear my daughter in the background. It's like, you know, how unprofessional with babies in the background. Not everyone, has the money to have, some nanny to basically raise your child. And your child doesn't even know you and end up resenting you. Anyways, also, so the very big, okay, switch scenes. So the big news that has been coming out is, of course, what's going on with these illegals. They're actually doing it. There are choke points everywhere at bus stations, train stations. They're at certain key interstates, certain key state routes, choke points where they are planning on deporting millions of illegal immigrants. And if they want to, because 90% of them are not showing up to these hearings. So let's say everyone that came in that first caravan, which is a lot of people, right? Think of everyone there. Well, they all got processed, and unless like they had an extensive criminal history, and even then, who knows? They might find a way, and those are the ones. Anyway, so all right, so forget about that. But anyway, so it's that big caravan comes through, right? 90% of them aren't even showing up to their hearings, and so they're just in the country, and that's it. They actually got in, basically. And then, the whole thing with the breaking up the family makes it very difficult because, like people as Americans, like there's certain things that people do in other countries, and there's certain ruthlessness to life because you have to survive. I mean, it's survive or it's thrive or barely survive in these countries, and they'll recycle kids, and they'll go in, pretend it's their kid, then that kid will go back, and these kids are going this 50 miles treacherous journey, all this stuff. It's horrible stuff, and that's why when I see the Democrats, I'm like, don't they realize that this is just like wrong on so many levels? Like they're on they like their whole thing is the humanitarian. They're actually on the wrong side of the humanitarian issue. It's wrong what they what they're what they have been letting happen. But it looks like that's about to start changing. So think 90% of them they end up staying in this country, right? And then so now they're in the country, and all of a sudden now ERs are treated so much different. You get met by a team of doctors. If you have certain symptoms, they'll quarantine you. They are so worried about Ebola and other things coming across that border. Maybe it already has. Um, but we know that there was a confirmed case. But coming directly across the border, and I don't know. I worry about that. Educated worry, if that's such a thing. But that's and so now they're picking them up and they're bringing them back because otherwise, what are they going to do? They're not going to court. They're just going to stay in our country, and it just encourages more and more and more. And now they're actually doing something about this. And the whole thing is this: they're on purposely being swarmed right now. Like I watched the whole hearing of the head of I believe he's the head of ICE, but he's also like he overlooks ICE, but he's the head of. There you go, Minnie Mouse. And so I'm just gonna make this quick for you. All right, so but he's I don't know if any of you guys saw that, but they were asking him. He was on the Senate judicial hearing, and they asked him a lot of questions. He was very well spoken. He did great. Graham oversaw the whole thing. And so he was talking about how bad it was that they needed $4.5 billion just to deal with that, and they had their agents all working double duty. That something like 75% of the border patrol agents were doing jobs that had nothing to do with their real job description, which was patrolling the border and standing certain checkpoints and having posts and, not abandoning that post and just different things. Once a wall is built in one place, use some of the technology maybe somewhere to monitor things. Like something like 75 to 80% are doing other stuff like medical stuff and, intake and all that. Well, there's two reasons they do that. One, to overwhelm us and use the loopholes. But two, and the main reason, is if you have that much manpower kind of being used up, let's say, 50 miles east of a location, and over there, that's where they have their processing facility, okay? Well, what do you think's going on 50 miles west? That's where all the drugs are coming in. They 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 already have so much trouble keeping drugs out of this country. They just made a crazy seizure, and they were so lucky to even make it. I mean, that's the crazy part. They talked about how lucky they were. But because it's just so much wide open land, and most of them are being used for processing because there's so many people at the border right now that have seeked asylum and they have to go through a process. And trust me, I know justice in this country is slow. It's a slow, slow thing. The justice system, it's a date to get a date to get a date to get a trial, and it never really usually makes it to trial. It ends up, and with situations like this, there's so many moving parts and variables, and the fact that they're not even showing up, what's the point? But we still have to process them. We have to make sure they're okay. Health wise, a lot of these people haven't seen medical treatment in a long time. And now they're just coming off a 50-mile hike, like without proper food at all or water, trusting these coyotes, sometimes having their kids held into the horrible things too with the kids. So while they have all the border patrol, looking east to the west, all the drugs are coming in. So there's tactics that they're using, and they're catching on. And I think it got to the point where we're just like, you know what? We're just playing like cat and mouse, and we're not really passing any legislation. And we're trying these ideas, but the cartel, we're talking big money. So it's not like you can't think of them as like street thugs. This is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They brought in $2 billion just this year. Something, I think that was, yeah, this year. It's like per year. This year it was like two. Hey, no, Philly, no. So I mean, they're gonna have some very intelligent people, and so anyway, so with all that going on now, so they're having all these choke points. They're really going to deport all these millions of people. At the same time, now we didn't. We made a deal with now Guatemala and Honduras. Well, the deal hasn't been made yet, but it looks like it's going to be made. Like it's basically made. Um, the more difficult hurdles have been cleared, and it looks like it's going to go through. There's going to be a deal with Honduras. Going to be a deal with Guatemala, and it's going to included in that deal where instead of just getting aid, they're going to have to actually play ball, and then they can get the aid, and maybe even better aid than they did before. They also have to, do everything in their power to stop this and not allow this and not promote it like it's going on now. And at the same time, instead of, there would be no point in these people making this journey anymore. And it's too dangerous. It's just, but they will have to go and register at the local United States embassy in whichever respective country they're in. Now, in the Mexico deal, they wanted to include that, and for what I understand, it almost made it in, but it was one of those last minute things. Mexico was just like, no, we're not going to have people going to the embassies to do that now. So they didn't put that in the Mexico one. However, they did get 6,000 troops down to the border, down to to Mexico's southern border. They also are making it so that these people aren't going to be able to. There's so many other measures in place as well. Like, it's going to make it so much more difficult for this to happen again, where it's just like swarms of people coming through as if there's no authority anywhere. And, it's going to be a lot different as far as that. And I think there's a reason why there's this urgency. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about it, but I mean, are you guys not? I know that there have been some talks of this maybe happening, but it seemed like a long shot. It seemed like it wasn't actually going to happen because we've been hearing for so long about immigration or acting now, and something needs to be done, and nothing ever happens. All of a sudden today, things are happening. I mean, they're literally going to deport like thousands, millions of them, millions. There's choke points all over the place right now. It's unbelievable. So, all over Mexico. Mexico has all these choke points everywhere. And then in America, we're going to be deporting all of them as well. And it sounds like an effective plan, especially once they finalize the deal with Honduras and Guatemala. I don't know why they don't include El Salvador. I only heard about Honduras and Guatemala. El Salvador seems to be the most worrisome of the three. But from what I read, it was more talking about those other two. I don't know. Maybe talks didn't go well. Maybe there is something just further down the line. Maybe something I don't know about. But from what I understand, it's more so the other two of the three countries. Olivia, don't be like that. So I wanted to report that as well because I just find it fascinating. Something's actually being done for once. Um, and it's another example of Trump being steps ahead. He's got Mexico setting up choke points all over the place with 6,000 troops from their southern border, along with doing various many other things, as well as about to finish deals both with Honduras and Guatemala simultaneously, where they will crack down on their people leaving and the organizers back home. Because we all know that Mr. Soros, funds some influential people to, kind of put the bug in people's ear. Oh, you go to America, this, that, that, and organize it, buses, everything. So I think it's another brilliant move. Um, and also it's funny timing. I feel like he's kind of had this in his back pocket, and he's been waiting to kind of use it because honestly, I don't know what he was thinking when he said, even though he was actually being honest, and I respect that when he said, well, you know what? Hey, I would accept information from another government. If it was something like real bad, I'd tell the FBI, but I would accept information from another government. All right, that's being honest, and I respect the honesty. But is that like a smart thing to do right now? You know what I mean? After that this all being over, like to reintroduce that, it almost made me convinced that he has to have a plan. There's no way that he has that little of, and he has more of a filter than people realize, but he still doesn't have as good a filter as he should, in my opinion. But in my head, I was like, that has to be part of a bigger plan. But the fact that this dropped right after that whole story, that was the big thing. Oh, he said this, and that doesn't mean anything. He said he didn't do it. It's asked a hypothetical. So maybe that's why he was on it. I don't know. It just seemed like why bring all that unneeded attention when you just, for the same exact, basically the reason they're trying to say that you did do, you would do. There's so many ways they could turn that. But he still said that, and I was surprised by it. I thought it was either that he was setting them up for a trap, kind of, which maybe he was. Or, he kind of knew he had this in his back pocket, and he decided, get that out there, kind of have some balls, people respect honesty in the end, but and also this story is gonna blow it out of the water, so that story won't be such a big deal anymore. I'm trying to think what else. Oh yeah, and then simultaneously also with Iran, some of the talk that he was talking about with Iran, very, very, very tough talk with Iran. It's a pretty scary situation. I'm always like hoping, like, maybe it won't be so bad. But no, the talks, it does not seem Like, this is going to end well if it continues on this pace. Also, a key thing that was said was that he was asked about it, and he was talking about. He goes, "It's not just about Iran. There's many different players in this, and And after I talked to all of them, and we all got to, which is exactly what I was saying in that video. I mean, there's so many different elements to this. I mean, from the standpoint of who was actually involved, well, there was Japanese right there, the Norwegian right there. Those are the two oil tankers. The Japanese in particular, our allies, saw these planes in the sky, which contradicts our whole thing. Or maybe they were drones, and it still contradicts our story. We didn't say they weren't drones, I don't think, but they're saying that those drones shot it, and yeah, at the same time, you have the stuff with Iran, and then you have the Ruskies right there, and that was kind of a theory that I had. But China seemed to be in a position where they could gain, especially if they know they want to make a deal. And you kind of wonder about their involvement. And then it's who aren't they talking about? Well, Venezuela. Meanwhile, as we found out last night, power has been shut off. I mean, I almost had a heart attack when I thought it was, but no, it was actually the countries surrounding them. However, Paraguay, Uruguay, not exactly surrounding them, and Venezuela, Argentina, I believe. So they all lost power. Um, so a lot of things going on. A lot of proof this isn't just a U.S. Iran thing. There's many players. Obviously, Israel being one of them. The Russians, the Chinese, just because of their status, or maybe more, are going to be players. And really, I think that this is all based on something even bigger, which is odd to say when you're talking about oil. I mean, when you're talking about oil, it's like, well, I mean, the wars these days are over oil, and what do you mean over oil? Well, what I'm talking about is a reset. I'm talking about some type of not like a not like the Bitcoin that you know today, but something with that blockchain technology, potentially with quantum physics to make it even more unbreakable, where it is a digital currency. And I actually invested in a small Bitcoin today. I have this company, they keep emailing me, and actually two of them, but one in particular keeps emailing me. The other one emailed me just once, and they want me to do like an ad for them, and I told them both no. When I see stuff like that, I don't know, it gives me it's douche chills when I start seeing them talk about, and they all talk about the same few companies, and you know, it's just when you hear that, it's almost like it's just like following this advertisement a shill, you know. So anyway, so those are some things on my mind. Just wanted to get them out there. Big news day. Um, I think that a lot of interesting stuff is also coming up. It's interesting to see the way the stocks also reacted positive to all this, and it looks like great things, even despite the chance. I mean, it's starting to become not just conspiracy theorists, YouTube type of, is the type of forum where you'll hear somebody talk about, oh well, they're gonna actually reset the financial system. Well, I really think that they are gonna reset the financial system, and it's gonna be that type of currency. And also I wanted to mention again. So far, nobody. I haven't been able to get anybody to. I mean, I'm gonna do what I can for her, but I can only do so much. She's just looking to get a room, So if anybody is interested in helping Awake and Aware, because I can't do it all on my own. There's no way. I don't have money like that. But I'm gonna do my best just to at least get her a room for tonight. If anyone can help out, the best, you have my email, all that. But the best way, honestly, is just the phone to call or text it. That's the best way to help her out. And then once you do that, I'll ask her permission, but it shouldn't be a problem. I'm sure she won't have a problem. And I'll just give you her phone number or whatever works, something like that, where you can get in touch with her, and you know what I mean. Or a few of us can get together and we're all kind of like send it in some way. I want to try to help this girl. She's in Kentucky, so that's Central Time. It's 7:21. It's 6:21 p.m. for her right now. So this is something that if anyone is able to help, it's something that we're kind of running out of time here. If we're gonna get her a room tonight, so I'll talk to her. I'll try to get more details. But basically, if anyone's interested and can afford to help, anything helps. I'm sure. Like I'm probably $20. That's what I told her I could do last night. And I'm not saying that you guys have to do 20. $5 or anything would help. I'm sure for her right now, and she really appreciates it. And she said, "Listen, if you guys can't, I understand, but it really means a lot that you guys even cared enough to try." So she's hoping, but she's a very nice woman. As you guys remember from last night, she was the last call last night. Awake and Aware. You guys, for those of you who caught the show, if you didn't catch the show last night was like an all-star lineup of calls. I mean, it was just like tens across the board. All great calls, all great topics, all different topics. One caller in particular hit on like 15 different topics, like to the T, and like amazing stuff. I mean, amazing stuff. I mean, whatever your cup of tea is, you'll find something to do with whatever rabbit hole you're in. There's something for you in that show last night. And I don't sit here and hype up every show and every call-in show, but when there's one with great content, which is brought by the viewers, I'm just the asshole that interrupts you guys sometimes. So it's brought to me by you guys and brought to everybody by you guys. So, I hope that you guys check out the show last night if you haven't seen it. And I really mean that. It was a great one. And keep an eye on it, on all the news that we just talked about. There's still going to be a lot more coming out. And this Arkansas state senator killed by her campaign chairman or whatever slash best friend. Just what a mess. It's also with now all of a sudden. I mean, I can't even imagine the protests. And you know what I was thinking about doing as well? I was trying to figure out, right? All right, I wanted to run the Trump rally and have it live. Um, I've done it before, but that was when there was somebody that I actually knew that was there with real equipment, and it wasn't exactly a Trump rally. It was something else. It was something like that, but it was like somebody that we knew, and they had the equipment. But anyways, I'm gonna try to run. Oh, I just didn't know what would be better. Something like Golden State Times, but that's like a. I don't know if that's really a newspaper though, because Golden State Times, I don't know where that would be. I mean, obviously, I would think like Golden Gate, San Francisco, but I don't know. Would something like that be better? Maybe that's like just like an internet thing, and it's because that seems more like an internet thing. always covers every like presidential or even like Speaker of the House. I think they had her. Anyways, them or Fox 10. I don't know what Fox 10 is all about. I think they're out of Arizona, but they cover everything Trump. So I didn't know if like I simulcast one of those. Let me see if anyone has any advice. Yeah, it's true. People do want the downfall of America. And they know deep down that it's not good for the country, not good for the health of the country. And I think that's what really is starting to get to them is like California is a very liberal state, and it's like, well, all of a sudden your health's going to be at risk. You know, they want to, I'm a good person and pat themselves on the back, but they're trying so hard to like, do what they think is the right thing that they're putting the people who are actually doing the job and actually protect us in a tough situation and making all these stupid loopholes where in the end it's really the less humane thing to do both to the children and the people of this country and the children and the people of Mexico and well, the people who have to march all the way from El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala. They have to make that long march. I know they take a bus a lot of the way, but there's still a good 50 miles they have to trek. I mean, that's unbelievable. Put them through that just to be now. Eventually, they're always going to be sent back after all, putting their lives in line, all that. A lot of them get put into sex trafficking. Let's say their parents can't pay, whatever. They're not making, they were promised a dream in America. And, like many things, we have our dreams. And sometimes once you actually get there, it's always that next thing that you think will make you happy. So, people probably thought, oh, as soon as I get to America, all my problems are over. But that's just not the way life works. There's always that next thing that you're always going to feel like, oh man, if I could just this, then I'd be happy. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can get this in the background here. If it even started yet. But I didn't see if anyone had a suggestion, one or the other. Trump, the Golden State Times, or Fox 10, or anything different. Like, which one would be the least likely to a copyright strike? Like, which one is the most, like, available to the public, basically, is what I'm getting at. Hey. Here, Olivia. Here, babe. Here, take this. Yeah, no, I like that. But I'm just saying, which one is more, like, probably safer for the channel? I mean, I'm getting all these. I told you guys I'm getting all these um, claims and one that looks like it's gonna become a stupid strike maybe. So, but the rest are all claims. But I'm getting a bunch of them. So I didn't know if maybe like Fox 10 because that's almost like local news, not local to me or you, but local to Arizona. I don't know. Like,
just don't know what to do. I mean, dance, eat, swim, win a prize. I mean, there are just so many choices in paradise.
Oh wait, that's gonna be me.
Oh, dates.
Sorry.
Our kids can't be alone on a boat for 5 days. I know. It's like we do
Olivia, come here. Good. That wasn't me saying super chat. That was Golden State Times, by the way. But yeah, I do have super chat, so you guys know. All right, so I'm gonna take a chance. All right, look at this guy. Look how much money in super chat this guy makes. It's crazy how much money. Like, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I would like, if I was started getting money like that, I'd be like, all right, guys, stop. Like, that's too much. But then again, he does a lot, I guess. He travels with all that equipment. All right, I'm trying to turn this thing around.
Sorry, Sid. I just want to meet you guys first. Let's do it. All right, folks. If you just joined us right now, all we ask for is you guys to share this live stream on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter. And if you use the hashtag TrumpHat, then you will be entered to win one of 4 Trump hats we are giving away. So make sure you guys please share this live stream on social media. Use the hashtag TrumpHat to be entered to win one of 4 Trump hats. Thank you so much for
Hold on, guys. I'll get it better.
also, thank you so much to Chris Wood for your support through Super Chat.
Let's go like this.
Ed Mateo, thank you so much
Move,
for
move,
your
Philly.
support